Hello YouTube, this is going to be my first actual video that I have made myself and actually put effort into, so please don't kill me in the comments section. This is a position paper I wrote for my English 105 Writing and Rhetoric class. My final project was to make a multimedia adaptation of said paper for a grade, so I chose a video essay because I assumed that they were relatively easy to make. I was vastly mistaken. I will be talking about some serious topics and potentially heavy subject matters, like addiction, but I do not think I should need any disclaimer for the content in this video, considering that it's mainly meant to be educational, and I won't be talking about it in any way that would warrant a disclaimer or trigger warning. Nevertheless, viewers' discretion is advised. With that being said, I hope you enjoy the video, and to my professor, I hope this is good enough. Now, let's get right into the video. For millennia, humanity has been advancing and innovating, from stone tools to iron tools to even lasers as of the 1960s. Modern technology is both a testament to humanity's intellect and its greatest ally. But one must ask, in what ways has technology improved our lives? And how has technology impacted the lives of the previous generations? However, the most important questions, and the ones we are going to be focusing on in this video, are what are the negative effects of modern technology on our generation? And how will future technology impact humanity? I'm going to take a specific stance, and a stance that few people would agree with completely out loud, even though we all know it's true deep down. I believe that technology, for the purposes of this paper, is an ultimate net benefit for society, even though there are a lot of problems that we have to deal with in order to have the best shot at a healthy future. For example, social media uses algorithms that are specifically designed to be as addictive as possible. The article Generation Z, Technology and Social Interest by Anthony Turner from the Journal of Individual Psychology, Volume 71, can be boiled down to, in my own words, how fucked we are as a generation, though it's much more nuanced than that. It's important to understand just who exactly we're talking about in this video. Anthony Turner wrote in his article, Generation Z, Technology and Social Interest, about the term social interest. Even though he doesn't directly define it, he talks about the demographics of my generation. And he talks about all the things we grew up through, some examples being the 9/11 attacks being in recent memory at the time, the 2008 financial crisis, and the global war on terror. The world we were born into, and the culture that affects our daily lives, thus showing the sort of world Gen Z was accustomed to as an introduction to the rest of his article, stating that these events have resulted in a generation that potentially values fiscal responsibility, tolerance of others, education, employment flexibility, and networking abilities, meaning that the world Generation Z was raised in taught them to be the most accepting and adaptable generation to date. Then, still using Generation Z, Technology and Social Interest, it says one of the points against technology, people are addicted to their devices, stating Generation Z has formed such a digital bond to the internet that they identify feeling emotionally attached to it, with more than 90% of participants indicating that they would be upset about having to give up an internet connection. I mean, like, come on. If that doesn't sound like an addiction, then I don't know what does. Along with that, companies design their algorithms to be as addictive as possible. According to Casey Ifini, in her article, Inside the Good, bad, and very ugly of social media algorithms on the website Fast Company, she states that social media algorithms are designed with retention in mind. The more dedicated eyeballs, the more advertising revenue that pours in, which means to me that companies make their algorithms that they use in all of their apps and websites to be as addictive as possible, to shove as many advertisements down your throat without you noticing, earning them so much more money than if they didn't do that. But even then, it's not just these actual credible sources I'm drawing from. I also see these effects everywhere in the current world. I see people glued to their devices. I see people who are so enamored with their devices that they never even look up to see if a car is coming while crossing the street, or are too busy to hear their name being called. I myself am also a victim of this sort of thing, finding it hard to focus on actual work regularly. In the video, How Is Your Phone Changing You? By ASAP Science, they talk about how addictive your phone is. They state, take for example the game Candy Crush. As you play the game, you achieve small goals, causing your brain to be rewarded with little bursts of dopamine, and eventually you are rewarded with new content. This novelty also gives little bursts of dopamine, and together create what is known as a compulsion loop, which just happens to be the same loop responsible for behaviors associated with nicotine or cocaine. What that massive quote accomplishes is introducing the term for why phones are addictive. The quote also means that devices like phones can be just as addictive as cigarettes or other addictive substances. Continuing with the addiction idea, we see the effects of addiction manifest in many ways. One of the more prominent ways is social problems. Jake Burgess states in his article, How Has Technology Affected Social Interaction?, that more and more people are beginning to rely on technology to communicate with their loved ones, friends, and associates. And later goes on to say that the increase in the use of technology to communicate could also cause a rise in loneliness, especially among elderly people who may rely on these transactional encounters as their primary source of social contact. What this basically means is that we are largely abandoning our older relatives in the transition of socialization to a digital realm. Not just that, but the article Negative Effects of Technology, Psychological, Social, and Health by John Johnson on Medical News Today states that a 2017 study in young adults aged 19 to 32 years old found that people with higher social media use were more than 3 times likely to feel socially isolated than those who did not use social media as often, meaning that technology is actually making us feel way lonelier than we should. We are also seeing other social problems that only exist specifically because of digital technologies. Take cyberbullying, for example. According to the city of Annapolis, Maryland, about 58% of kids admit somebody has said mean or hurtful things to them online. More than 4 out of 10 say it has happened more than once. Cyberbullying has increased in recent years. And in a national survey of 10 to 17-year-olds, twice as many children indicated that they had been victims and perpetrators. What these quotes mean is that a small majority of children have told the world that they have been victims of online harassment, with countless others who are too afraid to speak up. And this problem has only become worse in recent years. We are not only observing just the issues listed above, but we're also seeing some other worrying trends. For example, the average attention span has taken a dive. In the video, How Smartphones Sabotage Your Brain's Ability to Focus by Wall Street Journal explains it best when they said, when we face distractions, 2 areas of the brain the parietal cortex and the frontal cortex respond to distractions. The frontal cortex, which is involved in cognitively demanding tasks, helps us maintain focus. So we get distracted if the activity of the parietal cortex gets through to the frontal cortex. If the frontal cortex can keep the parietal cortex in check, you stay focused. Notifications from our phones draw our attention away from the task at hand. What this giant quote means is basically there's a battle raging inside your skull to determine whether you stay focused or not, and that our devices interfere with this battle and makes it even harder to focus, and thus we get distracted from the task at hand. And let us look at some of the physical health aspects. The video, How is Your Phone Changing You by ASAP Science states, people spend an average of 4.7 hours a day looking at their phones. This, combined with the length of time spent in front of computers, has led to the increase in the prevalence of myopia or nearsightedness in North America. What this means is that with all the compounded time we spend in front of screens, we are slowly losing our ability to see far away. As somebody who is already nearsighted, the fact was not only shocking, but also very concerning too. They also bring up the statistics of myopia over time, stating in the 1970s, about a quarter of the population had myopia, where today nearly half do, and in some parts of Asia, 80 to 90% of the population is now nearsighted, which is a very frightening thought to think about. What this quote means is that in just America alone, over the past 50 years, the population of people who are nearsighted has doubled. Overall, I believe that there is still hope for the future, and if we were to be a bit more mindful of our consumption of digital devices, we could make a very large step forward. My solution is the occasional digital detoxification. According to the Lifespan blog team, in their blog titled, What is a Digital Detox and Do You Need One?, they say that the benefits of a digital detox include improved focus, better sleep, enhanced relationships, and more time to do the things you love. Which I wholeheartedly believe, even before finding this source. The quote is saying that you can expect these benefits from taking a break from digital technology. Technology itself is not the problem. I should have made that clearer. The main problem is that we rely too much on technology and that it is hampering our society in ways we don't ever stop to think about. In this video, I covered some of these effects and gave a possible solution to mitigate their effects. I honestly hope I am wrong, and that this isn't much of an issue as I think it is, but according to all the research I have done, I do not believe this to be the case. Thanks for watching. I enjoyed making this video, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it. Maybe you learned something. Maybe not. If you liked it, then leave a like and a nice comment. Maybe I'll make another video like this in the future if this one hits enough likes. I don't have any goals right now, but whatever. This took a lot more time and energy than I was expecting, and it's really a lot of work to do these types of videos. This was certainly a valuable experience, and I really want to know what you guys think about the video. Alright, that's the end of this video. I will possibly see you in the next one, if I do end up making more. Have a very nice day.